Hey there, and welcome to the Grass-Fed Marketing Secrets Facebook group. We are talking about how to write copy for your alternative health customers. This is something we've needed to talk about for a while, and there is no one else on the planet I would consider bringing to you except for Carline Cole. She's joining us today. She's an A-list copywriter who is principled and seasoned in direct response marketing, the kind of marketing we teach you here inside of Customers on Demand. And she has a way for us to write directly to people who need your grass-fed and grass-finished products that is going to help them with their inflammation issues, with their gastrointestinal issues, whatever issues they're having. She's going to teach us how to position your offer as a solution to those issues. So, Carline, thanks for hanging out with us today. We're so excited to learn from you.
Well, nice to meet you, Jared, and hello to your peeps.
So yeah, our peeps are family-owned farms and ranches who are selling their meat direct to consumer. It sounds like you may have had some experience raising cattle yourself.
Well, let me tell you, this about 8 months ago now, left a nice little suburban city with a decent number of people in there, and my husband and I moved out to the woods, a cabin in the woods in the North Georgia mountains with a population of 152. And he had the greatest idea. We just moved there, not even a month. We have it's a farm, and he goes and gets 2 heifers and a bull. And we don't know what the heck we're doing. Those things got out. Neighbors are trying to help us get it back. We did not know. So we ended up selling them to a neighbor and saying, we'll try it again, once we get some experience. I am totally Jaja from Green Acres. If any of you guys are old enough to understand that. My neighbors even call me Jaja. So I'm fumbling and stumbling our way through it, but we are loving it out here. So yeah, so I definitely can feel for, my cattle people right now and understanding it. And I'm kind of getting to feel who your market is. I didn't think about that until we were talking about it earlier. But yeah, you got an interesting market to be able to try to sell to.
For sure. And so with that, I've known about you and I followed your career for a while because I've been in kind of the direct response copywriting ecosystem since 2002 or 2003. And it seems like easily over the last decade or so, your name comes up every time the health niche is talked about. And that's because you've had the distinguished privilege of writing copy directly for the alternative health field. Most copywriters fall into that profession through, one way or another, but how did you carve out this niche for yourself? What is it about alternative health that pulled you into that market? You could have sold anything. You could have positioned yourself as any type of a marketer. How did you fall into the alternative health sector?
And I think the word fall into is probably the right terminology to use. I started off my career at a company called Phillips Publishing. They were a financial newsletter publisher. I knew nothing about direct response marketing. I didn't know what it was. All I know is they had an ad for a part-time customer service job, flexible hours. I was a mom with a 2.5-year-old and a 1-year-old. And I was looking somehow to supplement my firefighter husband's salary, working part-time without having to put our kids in daycare. And so this ad showed up, flexible schedule, entrepreneurial company, looking for customer service reps, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to go see what this is about. It wasn't that far from my house. So applied, got the job, and that got me into the direct response marketing field. I never, again, knew anything about it until for the first time, I saw the ad for it. And from there, I learned about direct response marketing, but it was financial. And then I learned these people called copywriters who were living all over the world and making all kinds of money and, just writing copy. And I'm like, wow, I want to do that, So I kind of worked for 12 years. I worked at the company to understand direct response marketing. So I was more on the marketing side. Like I did the list selections and understanding the customers and taking care of the customers. It's saying my internet connection is unstable, so that's my life. And you guys probably know I'm in a population of 152, my town, so my internet sucks, is what it does. But just bear with me if I kind of freeze up. But anyway, so that was kind of my introduction to the company. And then after 12 years, I decided, to give copywriting a try. The great thing that I had, not knowing it then, but definitely appreciating it, was the fact that one of our key copywriters for the company was a man named Clayton Makepeace, who is the bomb when it comes to, he is like the best of the best copywriters in the world. And Clayton was our main copywriter, but he was doing mostly financial writing for us. But then we ended up starting a health business, health group. And I kind of, worked my way into that health group. Again, no experience. Most of the jobs I've had, I have no experience for. I just kind of talked my way into them and then learned as I was, on the job. But I got into the health market that way. We had a health group. I became a assistant marketing manager, and I learned about what was going on in the health market. And I've always been interested in health anyway. So this was a great opportunity to have a job where I had to keep learning more about health. So I got paid for learning more about health. And then I decided to go off on my own. I had written a couple things, nothing big, I wrote like a 2-page sales letter, a renewal letter one time, because they didn't book a copywriter to do it. And so my boss says, well, can somebody write this? And I'm like, hey, I'll try it. Raise my hand. I tried it. I wrote it, and it outperformed the best of their best promotions. In fact, the owner of the company in a meeting said, well, who's the copywriter who wrote this? This thing did phenomenally well. And my boss said, oh, we didn't have a copywriter. We had Carline. And at that time, it was like, well, boom, would that mean Carline is a copywriter? And to this moment, I am looking at that 2-page sales piece that kind of put the bug, or got me to the point of saying, maybe I could do this. Want to see it? I can pull it out. I'm not joking. I can show it. You want to see it?
Absolutely.
Look, this I have it laminated.
Yeah.
It's not even 2 whole pages because the order form is right here. And I'm telling you, this was one of my first pieces that I wrote. And the way I wrote it was, I did what Clayton Makepeace told me to do. When I listen to him talk, is what I tell all my students to do. Is what I'm going to tell you guys to do. Is, you're not writing a sales letter. You're writing a personal letter to one person, not a group. And so I had to visualize who I was talking to. In this case, I was trying to sell a special report about vitamins. This is how old this is. People were confused about what vitamins were. I like, what are vitamins? Are they going to be helpful? That's how old this piece is, right? And so I had a special report, and it was called, we called it the ABCs of vitamins and minerals. And so I did what I kept hearing Clayton saying. Talk to one person. What is the problem that they're having? How can you identify with them? How do you get them nodding their head? Yes, this is me. This is, me, you understand me. And then I visualized my mom, because I could see my mom going into a vitamin store and going, I just want vitamin C. But there's like all of this stuff, I just want vitamin C. And so I kind of imagined her in my head, and like, how would I talk to her to say, hey, I know you're feeling frustrated about this. You're just trying to take care of yourself, but you try to do something and then you get overwhelmed to the point where you don't do anything. You go, forget it. I can't handle this right now. You put it away. So I thought about my mom as I wrote this, and that is how I wrote that sales piece. I'm telling you, I had no training, and the do's and don'ts of copywriting. I just remember Clayton saying, write to one person, identify with what they're getting up and worrying about today, not next week, next month, next year, but today. What are they worried about? And how are you going to let them see that you have a real solution? How do you let them see you are credible? How do you let them see that you care? Those are all the things that you have to do when you're writing copy to be able to get people to say, yeah, I want this because you know who I am. You get me. And I'm telling you, this was it. So This is my reminder. The headline is not, I mean, it's headline just says shopping wisely for vitamins is as easy as ABC. You know, and then I just tell a story about this woman, you know, Michelle, who's my mom. I just talk about, you know, when I first wrote it, I was writing it to my mom. Then I just changed it a little bit, you know, to address the market. But that was it. You know, the frustrations of trying to buy something, and here I've got the solution for you. You can have it absolutely free when you renew your subscription. In fact, you're going to renew anyway, so why don't you go ahead and renew now, and then get this great resource absolutely free. And that's the sales pitch.
That's incredible. So if we're watching this and we're paying close attention, even if we're not quote unquote copywriters, we can write an effective sales message that will actually pull in sales. And so what you said was you start with writing a personal letter to just one person, not a group of persons, to one person. You had a specific person in mind, which we would call a customer avatar, someone you knew well enough to know how, what her buying behaviors are, how she would fumble around in a vitamin store, and just walked her through it. And then you addressed her worry, you offered a solution, you gave some credibility factors in there, and then you wrote in a way that communicated care. So if that's all we did trying to sell our farm to table product, let's say beef, if we're trying to sell our grass-fed beef to that avatar, those are the steps you could follow if you're unsure of what is copywriting, how do I do this, how do I make sales. If you just follow those few things, you'll have a winning piece just from that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And another thing that you can do that will help you is always a story. You know, tell a story. You know, John got the news, you know, about his health, and it just devastated him. You know, he remembers the holiday dinners with the family, you know, the smell of, you know, steaks at the barbecues, the hamburgers, the hot dogs, the, you know, all those things. They're not food. They're just part of his life. They're just their memories, right? And so all he's thinking is he's going to have to change all of that because he's got this, you know, condition now that says you can't eat like Americans eat anymore, because that's what's killing you right now. You know, you can't go out and buy food from the grocery store because of all the chemicals that's in, you know, that's shot up in all of them, the animals and all of the drugs that are in them, and all of the just the gross stuff that they're being fed, that in turn making you sick, you know. And so now it's a matter of having to change your life. And he's looking at it like, oh man, my life is kind of over, you know. But is it really, you know? Because what John doesn't know is there is a safer way for him to be able to continue having those family traditions and enjoying life, you know, and still eating healthy and still taking care of his health. You know, maybe you are like John, maybe you don't, you know, you're struggling the same way. Well, let me ask you, have you heard about X? You know, we are a company that does XYZ, and we know, you know, you want to have that steak, but you don't want to have the steak with all that junk in it. You know, you want to have meat like it was supposed to be. You know, not meat like it's how it's chemically produced now. And this is what we do. We do this for John and his family. We want to do it for you and your family too. You know, and again, I'm making it up because I don't know what you guys all do as far as, you know, your products. But the concept, get the whole feeling is talk to me. And when I'm talking to you, what I see Jared's doing is I'm talking, Jared's nodding his head, yes, 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 up and down. That is when you're writing copy. You want your audience to be doing the same thing as Jared's doing right now. Like, yeah, I want that. That sounds like my Uncle Phil. That sounds like my Aunt Doris. You know, she just, you know, we're eating all this stuff and she just has, you know, some, you know, a few vegetables in front of her and, you know, yuck, you know, it's just not happy. We feel kind of awkward because she can't have this stuff and we're eating all this stuff. And so now how do we do this so that we can all enjoy our foods and still be happy? You know, so you got happy animals, you know, who are being fed good foods. And so when they're slaughtered to feed you, the food is good and you can enjoy the food, and this food can make you healthy, not sick, you know. And so this is what you guys are about. That the grass-fed beef is going to be better tasting than anything else. So you're going to even eat better than you've ever eaten before. You're going to enjoy the foods, you know, and it's going to actually help you stay healthy. And that's what we're about at company ABC, and I'd like to, love for you to take a look, try it for yourself, introductory offer. Here we have this, you can try completely risk-free. If you're not happy, hey, no worries. We want, just like we like our animals to be happy, we want our customers to be happy too. Free to use any of this stuff. Free to use it. I'm okay with
Steal that line. That was a great line.
it.
Not that we're comparing customers to cattle, but sometimes.
Why not? Why not? Hey, if you love your cattle and you make sure that that cattle is fed right, is taken care of, when it's sick, is not pumped up with all kinds of antibiotics, and you take care of your cattle, that means you love your customer, because you want your customers only to have the best. And you can't have the best if you're not taking care of the animals from the beginning, from the ground up. I would love that line. Try something like that. We love you as much as we love our cows.
So good. One thing you did in the story. So it's funny, teaching copywriting, we always say you need to be great at story, learn the art of story. But I like the way you unfolded that story, that hypothetical situation where you're talking about the one customer and you're telling that story and you're painting the picture of, this is great for a holiday promo. We're all eating around the table, but Uncle Phil's not because, his liver says, or his kidneys are. And, but the way you transitioned out of that was absolutely smooth as butter and brilliant. You said, this is what we've done for John or Phil or whoever, and we want to be able to do this for you. This is what we've done for our family. This is what we've done for ourselves. We want to do this for you too. What a great transition statement into an offer. Which kind of leads me to, you approach offers similarly to most copywriters, right? But because you're in the alternative health market or the health market, you have to package your offers a little bit differently. Can you talk about what even is an offer, and then your approach to how you're presenting and promoting and packaging an offer in your copy?
Sure. Offer is simple. What are you offering to your market? What is it you're trying to sell them? What is your package? So are you offering them 6 months at this price, which would be your best deal offer? Or you then offer a 3-month, at this price, or a 1-month trial at this price, and then I work with vitamins all the time. So we're always offering either 12 or 6-month, bottles. And then you usually get, when you buy that one, you usually get maybe 2 bottles free, or you get extra gifts free. We try to make the value of the offer like, wow, overwhelming. Like, I get all this for just this. So the offer is just, what is it that you want to sell to your market? And then now we just decide how we're going to offer it, and we break it down. Of course, the best deal, you want to make it, that's the one that will bring in the most money. That is the best price. You're going to load that best deal offer with as many great things as possible. And then you drop it down to the middle. And most likely, most of your orders will come from the middle, because most folks will, you'll have the best price, high end, then you have the middle, and you have the trial, the 1 month or the one product, whatever the case may be. And that one is usually the standard price plus shipping and handling. Whereas the other ones, they get free shipping and handling, kind of better. So people are going to look, and they're going to look at that 6-month offer and say, wow, that's good, but that's a little too expensive. They say, but the 1-month offer, I could pay that, but I don't want to pay shipping and handling. And I want some of those free gifts. So all of a sudden you're going to push them up to the middle offer. So you put that, the best offer is always there, really, to push it so that you got more of a good offer. And also it'll stop you from having only 1-month buyers. It'll get them up to being 3-month buyers, and you'll get some 6-month buyers too along the way. So that's what your offer is. It's just, what is the most appealing? What are you making that's most appealing to them to say, I gotta buy this, I need to have this. And so what I like to do is I like to figure out what the offer is before I even start writing copy. Because when I know what the offer is, then I can do what's called sort of salting the copy. Which means I may drop a little bit of, a little seasoning here, drop a little note, maybe message about something that deals with it, like, oh, this special report is absolutely free and you can get it, but more on that later. And then just keep talking, and then just say, oh yeah, you'll get these 3 special reports when you go for the best offer, so then I'm kind of dropping it in and said, and then just keep talking along the way. So at least I know what the offer is, instead of just writing the whole copy and then finding out what the offer is after the fact, that I'm like, it just kind of hits you like a thud, like, well, you want to feel like that's all part of it. So a lot of times I will sell a special report and talk about how awesome the special report is. And I'm like, man, this thing is worth $300, $200, whatever. It's worth a lot of money. But I'm gonna show you how you can get it absolutely free in a minute. But let me tell you what's in here, and I get you all excited about wanting the special report. And then I can say you can have it absolutely free when you either subscribe to a newsletter, or whether you want, or when you make a purchase or something else. So I a lot of times I will sell the special gifts. Like, you got to have it, but the only way you can get it is to join us. And by the way, don't worry. You have to be 100% satisfied. If you are not, you will get your every penny back. No ifs, no ands, ifs or buts about it. I want you to be happy. If it's not for you, then it's not for you. But you know what? I wouldn't make this offer to you if 98.9% of the folks who tried it, didn't absolutely love it. In fact, I'd go out of business if I gave you this offer and then people were canceling off right and left. So I know I can deliver the goods, but I need you to feel comfortable that it's going to work for you, or you're going to like your results. So that's why I'm giving you this opportunity to try it for free, or try it risk-free. And if you're not happy, just let me know. We'll cancel, we'll get you a refund, whatever the case may be. So knowing the offer in advance, I can have a conversation with you. It's like I'm saying, Jared, you got to try this. Look, you got nothing to lose. You're going to get like 15 gifts for free. You're going to get the lowest price for this stuff. And if you get free shipping and handling, and if you are not happy for any reason, all you got to do is say, I'm not happy with this. And they will cancel my order and send me my money back. What? Come on, man. Can it get any easier than that? And that's kind of, come on, you'd be kind of crazy not to do it. And one thing I love to say when I'm talking to people and going into the point of closing the deal is to say something like, I lay everything out what they're going to get. And I'm like, you can get this, you can get this, you can get this. And if you're not happy, you can do this, or you can do this. I'm like, come on, can I be any fairer than that? I think that's fair, don't you? Because we have such such ingrained feeling of fairness. I mean, think about, you have two little kids playing and somebody gets something, two 2-year-olds, somebody gets something or whatever. That's not fair. That's not fair. They get, that fair thing. You have teenagers. That's not fair. How come she can do this and I can't do this? We have that feeling of fairness, right? So use it. So you lay your offer out like that. Going, I'm giving you this, I'm giving you that, I'm giving you that. You risk absolutely nothing. Come on. I think that's fair, don't you? And, and then again, look at your head, Jared. You're doing that. So you want to do that in that conversation with people to say, come on, you have to be able to try this, because I know my product is amazing. I know it has helped thousands and thousands of people. I know it is the best thing out here. I know it will help you if you give it a chance. But now you just got to trust me just a little bit, just enough to say, I'll try it, and if I don't like it, just kind of put your toe in the water. Make people feel like, it's so easy. It's so easy. Just put your toe in the water a little bit. Just dip in there and see. If you don't like it, pull it back. You don't have to do it. It's okay. It's, because the idea of making a big decision is scary to most people, but a little test, a little trial, a little no risk, you can tell your spouse that, hey, listen, we're going to try this. If it doesn't work, we're not going to lose anything. I'm going to see if this works for us. I think it's going to work because they have scientific studies that show this, and that. They have testimonials that show this, and that. So I think it should work for us. But even if it doesn't work, we'll get our money back. So we got nothing to lose. Something like that, people will go, okay, I'll try it.
Amazing. So I was going to pull out a few things you said, but you went on to say so many incredible things in that spurt of inspiration. One thing I do want to pull out, though, a number of you guys are right now, you're selling subscriptions and you're wondering why you're struggling to move the needle. And that's because you're only presenting one offer, and it's the one thing you want them to do. What you probably should be doing is offer the offer you want them to choose. You should put other higher end offers around it, so it pushes them down to the level you want them to be. So Carline was talking about how if you have a subscription model, have a really high, expensive, over-the-top crazy offer, knowing that most people, as they're dipping their toe in, they don't want to commit to that on a monthly basis. So they'll move to the second lowest version of that. And that really needs to be tested. That's something we should be teaching by the book, like textbook version of presenting an offer for subscriptions, the continuity model. that's the way to test that. That's the way to do it. Absolutely love that you shared that. Guys, that was worth the price of admission alone today. So that whole offer thing, people, it's fun to communicate offers, because when we're telling our clients, you need to have an irresistible offer for your avatar. Most of them are like, what is the offer? And you kind of said it like, no brainer. It's what you're offering to your market, to your customers. Wow. Okay. So with all of that being said, in the way you approach copy, there's this famous quote that says, you're not copywriting, you're actually assembling the copy. So before you sit down and bang out an email or a landing page or a sales letter, what are the tools you want at your disposal? What are the elements that you need to have in place, the things you need before you can actually sit down and write the best version of whatever it is you're about to write?
Well, I can tell you one thing. I am not what's the word? I am not one of those types of copywriters that's very structured. It's not like I'll go, oh, today I'm going to write my lead, and today I'm going to write, bullets. Today I'm going, I am much more of I'm a feely kind of person, writer. I tell my students all the time, learn the copywriting rules and then break them. Just break them. Learn it so because this is what they say usually works, okay? But you don't have to follow them. You don't have to do that. So I'm not structured in the sense of, I don't work off of outlines. I hate outlines. They drive me nuts. Even when I was in school, I never could do outlines. So I am much more of, just kind of, kind of going organically with copy. So the first thing I have to do is I have to prove to myself that this is worth my time. I'm like, what is this? What is this? So I am so skeptical. You should hear me sometimes when a client's calling me and they're trying to get me to work on one of their packages or one of their products, and I'm listening. They're going to say, "Oh, we have this vitamin that does this, whatever." I'm like, so what? So what? I'm like, I need to know, so what, okay, before. So the problem is most people want to start writing and saying, oh, here's my pen and here's my paper and here's my stuff and here's my stuff. I'm ready to write. No, you're not. You're not ready to write until you understand what the product is, and you can, in your mind, be able to almost write the package without, putting it on words. So that means you have to kind of do your research. You have to be the customer's advocate. You want to ask all these kind of questions that your customer will most likely ask, because if you don't answer those questions in the sales letter, you will not make the sale. Because unless you plan on taking your sales letter to every one of the potential clients, potential customers that you have to say, well, let me explain. Unless you plan on doing that, you better put it in that sales copy. So you need to know, what are their concerns? What do they want? What are they getting up worried about? What do they hate? You need to know all that. So the way to know all that is to make sure your clients give it to you, or you get it from the research. So a client saying, oh, we have this wonderful product X. I'm like, okay, so what? There's like 100 of these products out there. Why do I want to spend a month of my life working on your product? Why do I want to help get a product on the market that is already congested? Why do I want to tell people that you are the solution? Because those people could include my mother, my family members who are going to buy this stuff. So I want to make sure it's legitimate. So why? So, so what? What is so great about what you have? So be super skeptical. And then by going that way, they'll tell you, well, ours is better because, and they start to explain, or you read the research and they start to tell you the differences between X, Y, and Z, or, like, oh, okay, so that's better. You mean your deliverability is way better. Most of your competitors use a pill, whereas you use liquid because liquid is going to be absorbed better. Okay, so all right, that's kind of good. Or, hey, we have more potency, and it's not just about having more of the product, but we have proof that the potency actually lasts longer because of X, Y, Z. Oh, okay, so you got high potency. That's a check mark. Okay, I get it. And what else? No nasty side effects, no nausea, no choking on pills, none of that. Well, that's a good reason. Okay, and we got hundreds of people who have written to us saying this thing has saved their lives. Okay, well, that's cool. Testimonials that show it. And there's studies that show that, the nutrients that we have in this formula do X, Y, Z. Okay, you got Harvard, you got Yale, you got UC Berkeley. Okay, well, that's interesting. So you're telling me your product is superior because, and I repeat what they tell me, because you got better potency, you got better deliverability, you got, I don't know what else I said, better studies or whatever, so, okay, all right, wow, that's a pretty good stuff here. I think people should know about this. So now, and then I will take the product, unless it's male potency stuff, I won't do those. But if I will take the product and myself, if possible, to see if, do I notice the difference? Do I, while I'm working on it, I'm taking the products too, if I can. And then now it's like, wow, this is pretty cool. So now I'm talking to my family, my friends. I'm like, hey, did you know there's a product coming out? If a product came out in the market that could do X, Y, Z, would you want to take it? Why would you want to take it? How would you want to take? So I'm using my feelers. I haven't written a word. I haven't written anything, right? I haven't done anything, because when I come to my computer to write, it's business. I know I'm going to write something here. I'm not going to go, well, what is it about again? I've kind of been playing with it in my brain to say, man, this is some really good stuff here. How would I get people interested in it? And so then as I'm coming and I've got some information, I start saying, all right, I get a document up there and I just go, well, let me just, what else? He said this about it. I start kind of writing some things, not copywriting, not anything. I'm just putting down information. This is called my dump file. I'm just dumping really good stuff. I may find a briefing, may say, it has X, Y, Z. This study shows here. Copy and paste it. Copy and paste it. I'm just going through my research as I'm finding something that's like my aha moment. I'm like, oh, well, that's good. Copy, paste, copy, paste. Don't edit yourself. Don't worry about the writing. Just get the really good meat. Get the good stuff, into that dump file. And by the time I've gone through and I've talked to people, I've interviewed the client, or I've gone through the studies or whatever they've given me, research, whatever book, I've gone through those things and I'm just dumping on, well, that's interesting. That's a cool one. I just dump it in there. When I'm finished that, I may have 54 or 50 plus pages of copy just dumped in there. And somewhere in that dump file is my promotion. It's there. I just now have to just like kind of get rid of the junk and let the good stuff rise to the top. And so that's how I take on copy. I'm like, what is exciting about this? What is it going to do to people? How is it going to help people? How is it different than the competitors? Who else is saying this is good? I get all that. And I'm like, all I need now is to just kind of string it all together with a nice either story or something that, kind of helps tell, the evolution of the product. So that is how I go about writing copy. It is never, let me write my lead, let me write my whatever. It's like, what's so great about this? And then when I'm in that, I got my dump file, I'll look and I'll go, ooh, that was interesting. Let me pull this out. And maybe it'll be a sidebar, I'll write a sidebar. And then I was like, oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. Well, these are bullets. Let me make some bullets here, and nothing is together, all, like you said, assembled. It's together. It's like I have my bullets over here. I got sidebars over here. And sometimes one of those bullets is like, that's really good. Maybe that should be a headline. Let's play with that on a headline and move it up there. When I don't have a headline in my copy, it just says big freaking headline goes here. Bam, that's it. Eventually I will put something there, but an impact font, my big freaking headline goes here is what I have, waiting for me to come up with it. And I may not come up with it till the very end. I may come up with it in the beginning or somewhere in the middle. I don't know. It is what it is. I don't stress over it. I just know I'm going to have one at some point. And I just got to figure out, well, what is exciting about this? And so then as I'm pulling it together and I go, well, this is a lot of stuff here. How do I say all this stuff without just boring people? I got to find a way to tell a story about this. What kind of story could I tell? Could it be a person talking this story? Or could it be more like a reporting of a story? Or how can I do this? What would be interesting? And I'm playing with it too. Sometimes I hit a dead end, I bounce back and try someplace else. And then when I got the story, then I can just start weaving all the pieces. I'm like, all right, tell this story. Ooh, I need some proof right here. So in a bracket, I'll put need proof. And I keep on going, keep on going. I'm like, ooh, I need some bullets here. Keep on going, And then that way I don't stop myself while I'm writing, and I just kind of go through and see if I can put together something that makes sense. And then I go, all right, I need to go back here and look at the areas that are kind of weak. Now let's go and drop some good strong bullets in. Let's drop a good proof element in, or whatever. So it's like a puzzle. It's like, oh, I need a piece here, I need a piece here, I need this, whatever. And you go, okay. Then you go step back a little bit and you read it. I'm like, do I believe this? Where's the, is the BS monitor going off here? Am I going too much, off the deep end with the promises that people are like, what? Their meat actually walks on water. Oh, back it off too much. let's not make it too too unbelievable. And that's kind of the dance of the copy, of kind of putting it together into something that you go, all right. And so then when I finish, I get a decent draft, I take a break, a day or two, I come back. And now when I come back and I look at that copy, I am going to try to be so nitpicky, it will drive me nuts. Every sentence, I'm like, do you belong here, or do I need to kill you? Do I belong here? Do I kill you? Do I, kill your baby with the words? You go, now you're much more analytical. You've already got the excitement in the copy in here. Now you're going to go back and say, does every sentence deserve a space on this page? If not, kill it. Now you're going to tighten up that copy. It's like putting a girdle on the copy. Squeeze it in, get it, make it look good, make it look good, and that's and that's kind of the process. That's kind of the best way to explain my crazy process.
That was incredible. I like feeding you stuff that lets you go off on a tangent. I love the way you're communicating this. All right, so a lot of who is in our audience, they're new to copywriting. Some of them haven't even heard the term copywriting, maybe until today, or maybe watching some of our videos recently. But if you were to sit down and have to bang out some copy that worked, what are the most important elements that you would be sure to include in your alternative health copy?
Absolutely, positively have a headline. A headline is going to be the attention grabber. A headline is what stops. If you're receiving something in the mail, you see a headline that catches your attention. A headline that stops it from going in the trash. A subject line stops people from deleting or clicking off of you. Subject line is nothing but a headline and for emails. Okay, you need some kind of an eye-grabbing headline, something that's going to catch my attention, because you will not have the luxury of waiting 5-6 paragraphs down into your copy to become interesting. So you got to have something that's going to catch their attention immediately, so they know, oh, this is for me, and so that is a crucial element in the sales letter. The other thing I would say, it's you-centric. Okay, talk to one person, talk to you. So you feel this way, don't you? Not we feel this way, don't we? Or they feel this way, don't they? Always talk to one person. I don't care how bad your copy is, but if you are talking to me and you are genuine about what you're trying to say to me, I'm going to listen to you. And I don't care if you've got some typos. I don't care if it's a little awkward. I care that you care about me. So if you can do that, and starting from when I showed you, this was my very, very first promotion I ever wrote. And I did not know the rules of copywriting. I mean, I was around copywriters. I read copy, but I was not trained as a copywriter or anything like that. All I learned was be personal. Just talk to your reader. Talk to one person. What do you want to say? Why are you bothering them right now? So that they know this is important, because I know you're busy. So this is important. I need you to know why it's important, and you can catch my attention. So that, if you can do that, and if you don't know how to write copy, you don't know anything else, you want to have it where just say what you want to say, and keep in mind that you're trying to get someone's attention who's going to be busy doing other things. So you don't have the luxury of time. You want to kind of get to the point, so that they know that you have something that they want to know about, is, steak is this steak, what is it? I can't think of, is steak making you sick, but you still want to eat it anyway? I mean, is it something like that? I was like, oh, yes, well, yes, I do. Tell me something, find out what I need. So you need to know who your market is. You need to know who you are talking to and why are you talking to them. And then just go back and just tell them, talk to them one-on-one. Hey, it's me, Jared, again. It's me, Jared. I've got this. Let me tell you, I've got this for you. You're just talking like sales copy is nothing but conversation in print. It's a conversation. So it's okay to interrupt yourself. It's okay to start with a preposition. Your English teacher will hate you, but the rest of the world will love you. So it's okay. It's okay. So just if you don't have any formal training in copywriting, just connect with me. I will forgive you for everything else if you just connect with me as your market and tell me what you need, what you want from me.
So good. You've given us so much to think about and really practical things to use, not just philosophy or theory. I want to wrap with this. You started writing copy with no experience, but the advantage you actually had, besides the mentorship of Clayton, is that you were exposed to what good copy looked like. And so I want to expose our members to what good copy looks like. So how can we connect with you? How can we learn more from you? What resources do you have available that we can just absolutely consume and devour?
Okay. Well, I have my website, carlinecole.com. And in my website, I try to give you guys a lot of stuff. I know a lot of people are just starting off. I know sometimes finances is a problem, but you got to get started somehow. I've been there, trust me. So on my website, you'll get tons of stuff. You'll see samples of stuff you can actually purchase, promotions if you want to. Take a look at what they are. Say, I want to buy this one and kind of study it. That's on the website. I got a YouTube channel. I got like over 250 videos. They're all for copywriting training to help you. And they're crazy. They're not all about, let's learn about copywriting right now. I'm like, nope. I'm like, hey, I'm shopping. Here's what I learned about copywriting from shopping. Here's what I learned about copywriting from going to the Amicalola Falls. Here's lessons I've learned about copy. So I'm just trying to make copywriting so ingrained in your brain that you're going to be thinking copy whether you know it or not. And so when you get to that, computer to write down, your stuff, it's going to be cool. You go, oh, I know this, I get it. So I make my YouTube channel, which is Carline Cole YouTube channel. You can go there and you can, just have fun. I have games on there. I've got this whole series called Which One Won, where I try to get you to guess which of these headlines work, and I'll give you options. I'll show you the options. I'll tell you the story behind them, and so then you can go and try to guess which one worked, and I'll give you the answer and why I thought it worked. So it's just a lot of fun. I just have a lot of fun on my YouTube channel. Also, I have my books. I have my first book that I wrote right when COVID started. It's called My Life as a 50-plus-year-old white male. How a mixed race woman stumbled into direct response copywriting and succeeded. That book is pretty much my autobiography, but you get to learn a lot of copywriting lessons, that I share in there. And then the year after I came back, because you don't do stuff once, so you got to go again, right? So I got my second book, which is Your Copy Sucks, You Don't. 60 kick butt lessons on copywriting, business, and life. And this is more 60 lessons. You can read a lesson, and by the time you go to the bathroom, you'll be done. But it's all about how you can, how copywriting, business, and life kind of intertwine each other. So it's a fun book, but it all, kind of helps you understand you're coming into an industry that is not a 9-to-5 job. It is not a, oh, I'm doing copywriting today, something else tomorrow. No, it's kind of a way of life. It's a way of life. How you're gonna be looking at things so differently. You're gonna see something written. You're gonna go, oh, I could write that better. You're gonna see a headline on a billboard and go, oh, I could change that, make that stronger. And that's the whole point. So that's what it is. So you can get both of these books. They're on Amazon. I'd love for you to take a look at them, read them, and leave me a review on them too. So I'm in kind of semi-retirement right now. I did do training. I had a hugely successful mentoring program called the Crazy Copy System Live Mentoring Show. Did it for a year and a half. Got some amazing writers to take on and become successful in the industry. So that was cool. Now we have a rerun of the shows because I'm not doing anymore because I am in the woods. We about to go chop some wood soon. Anyway, so that's kind of what it is. I've been doing this for over 20 years, 25 years in the industry, and it's just been a wonderful industry for me and to have my family. It's been a great career. And right now it's like, if I can help you, kind of pay it forward, or if I can help in any way, I share what I have. I'm telling you stuff that people will pay me thousands of dollars, to tell them, and I'm telling it to you right now. And I show a lot of stuff on my YouTube channel too. You can sign up for my Copy Start Easy. It's free. You go to carlinecole.com, my website, you can sign up, and you're going to get tons of great, just short, easy tips. Try this, do this. I just did this, and here's what happened, and it kind of gets you going. A lot of my folks really love getting those, like a little shot in the arm for copywriting. So those are ways I make myself available. Especially for newbies. I've been where you are right now. Trust me. I know the frustration, I know the feeling of what you want and not able to kind of make a connect. You can do it, but I'll give you one last secret. Okay. This is my last secret, and I'm stopping right now. I'm talking. And that is, don't stress out about this. Okay. There is no magic formula. There is no one way to success in this business. You need to just find out, what kind of writer are you? Okay, because if people, once upon a time, when I would write my copy that I write now, when I used to write copy like I write now, and I was a newbie, and I would turn it into an experienced writer or whatever, they would trash it. They would say, "Hey, you're breaking the 7-word headline rule, and you're doing this." They were like, "This is terrible. This is terrible." And finally, I just was like, "Can somebody just test this? Just test it." Because they're like, "No, this won't work because this doesn't do this. This doesn't follow this rule." And so finally it got to the point where they would just test what I just did, just test it. And they were like, "Oh, it worked. It worked." So there's no magic formula in the sense that, if you do all these things, you will succeed, because you could do all of the textbook stuff and you can still suck, but if you write from a feeling or place of conviction, right, where like you genuinely have something that can help other people and you just are trying to connect with them. If you can connect with me, like I said, I will forgive you for all kinds of copywriting mistakes that you can make. So when you're getting in this, don't get overwhelmed. That's why, like, you can look at my stuff on the website. Don't buy anything yet. Just look at the free stuff. Okay, just look at the free stuff. See if this is what you want to do. I have stuff you could buy if you want to, but don't go crazy. I don't want to see a bunch of orders coming through, because that means you're just getting too excited. I want you to take your time, choose one thing, and then do it, but practice it, actually apply it. Okay. Don't just like people buy stuff all the time and it just sits on shelves. And I don't want that. I don't care about that. It doesn't help you. So just take advantage of all the great stuff. Buy my books because they're cheap. And when you buy my book, you're going to get, like, you buy the first book, you're going to get like $1,700 worth of free samples. And you're going to get so check out the book. It's in there. You'll find out about it. But you buy the book for $20 or $10 on as an ebook, but you're going to get about $1,700 worth of samples for your copywriting kit anyway, because there's a code in the book. When you get it, you click that code, bam, you get access to that stuff. Same thing for my second book, another $950. So that's about $2,500, of good stuff that you would go on my website and buy, where I'm going to give it to you for free. You spend $20 on the 2 books. So I'm just saying, I'm not doing this to make money, evidently. But it's just my way of saying, hey, you know what? I've learned this stuff. I was thankful that I had a mentor, Clayton Makepeace, who taught me so much. And this is a chance for you to learn. And I'm sharing what I've gotten until I say I'm done, and I'm almost there. That's it. That's my last bit of advice. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. Just take your time.
Absolutely. I'll end with this. The best piece of advice right now, outside of don't freak out, is go to carlinecole.com and opt into her email list. The things she shares in the email is great, but the copy she writes, you'll learn a ton. It's one of the few copywriters that I'm subscribed to that I actually open the emails and read, and not just hoard and collect in my swipe. So it's a great read. You'll learn a lot. and absolutely pick up her book. Especially your first book, Carline, was it's so good, and obviously the title is hilarious. In context, it's hilarious, but she really does talk about writing in a different voice, knowing your market, and outside of the autobiographical stuff, the copy training in there is insane. I believe our friend Lori Holler has a cameo in that book as well.
Oh yeah, I give shout outs to my designers in the book, and so Lori is definitely in the book. I have her because Lori and I have worked together for many years, decades at this point. She's awesome. So I have a section all about my designers. It says copy is king, but design is his queen. And that I'm talking about what chapter that is real quick. That is, and I have samples in here of let me show you of Lori's work. And it's chapter 9. It is on chapter 9 of the book. But then Lori is on. I have a photo of Lori, and I have her sharing her process and how things get done. It's really cool because a lot of times I find that copywriters are clueless. You need a designer. A designer is going to be your partner in crime in many ways if you're doing direct response copywriting. And here's Lori. Let me show you a little shout out for Lori. I don't know if you can see her. But that's Lori right there. And the stuff that we worked together on. We did an Oprah promotion launch together. So anyway, she's just a wonderful person. But I talk about the importance of the marriage of the copywriter and the designer, because you got the words, but the designer is going to put the pictures and make the words pop out for you. And you want to make sure you work with a direct response graphic designer, not just a designer, because designers want to make things beautiful. And graphic designers know that ugly works. So they are worried. They are all about trying to make your words stand out and work for you so that we can make the sale. So that Lori's one of the few copywriters I've collaborated with for over 20 years.
Amazing. Love her too. Thank you for doing this. We've just extracted a ton of value out of our time together. Guys, implement what she's saying. Don't just nod your head like I did, but nod your head in agreement and go put it to work. A lot of the things we talked about today, you're going to be absolutely blown away by your copywriting results. Carline, thanks for hanging out with us. We'd love to do this again sometime, but you've already given us so much to work through. So
you're very well. I'm glad. Thanks for working with me, my crazy schedule. I appreciate it. We try to get this together a couple times. So thanks for not giving up. So I hope to see you guys on my email list soon. Take care.
Very much. Take care. Thank you.
Bye.